So welcome everyone. My name is Lori Egner. I live in Denver, Colorado, even though I am looking like I'm at the beach tonight. That's where I'd really rather be. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is our regular Monday night Empire Circle Zoom. And we meet here every week on Monday to discuss various topics. And so let me just give you a little bit of background if this is your first time here. Hang on here. So I'm going to be your host tonight, and the title of our talk is Untangling from the Matrix. And I'm going to be having a nice conversation with my friend and a partner, one of my leaders on my team, Andy Kennedy. But tonight is not about me, and I just want to tell you a little bit about our company. Okay, so the most important thing is just we were founded in 1970 by Jay Martin, and he started this company with a mission to bring to the market products that truly enhance and or protect the quality of life. So here we are 50 plus years later, and we're a company that still promotes the message of inspiring healthy living around the world. We are in over 27 countries with our products and a partnership business. The brand name is Juice Plus, and that product line is recognized as the global leader in plant nutrition. So the Juice Plus company is the pioneer in the paradigm shift from vitamins to whole food. And today we are also proven with more than 40, I think it's around 43 research studies. So, and we also have the first hybrid business model, and we are here to stay. We have a big mission of inspiring healthy living, as I mentioned before. So let's get to the main event. So I'm just going to read a little bit, tell you a little bit about Andy. So hang on here, I'm getting all my notes organized. So, well, I just want to start by saying Andy and I met, it was around 2012, because that is when we brought the Tower Garden to our company. And Andy will talk a little bit more about that. But today, Andy is a visionary leader in the movement to reclaim sovereignty, health, and spiritual alignment beyond societal conditioning. With over 2 decades of experience in sustainability, permaculture, and holistic wellness, Andy walked away from a high-performing career in nonprofit leadership to co-create Shambhala, which is an off-grid farm and educational sanctuary in Tennessee. It's dedicated to self-sufficiency, ancestral wisdom, and conscious community. She's also the founder of the Red Pill Sisterhood. She holds a certification, well, she holds certifications, plural, in herbalism, energy medicine, permaculture design, and is a master gardener. Her transformational journey includes creating county-wide zero-waste systems, guiding hundreds through detox and intuitive development, and helping women discover their soul's purpose through combining ancient and modern modalities. With a deep personal story of breaking free from toxic food systems and digital dependence to corporate control and spiritual suppression, Andy offers both the practical tools and spiritual insights for anyone ready to exit the matrix and reclaim their truth. So I'm going to bring Andy up right now, and we'll just start this conversation. So Andy, welcome to tonight's call. And you know, the title might feel a little confusing for people. So I think maybe too, their curiosity brought them here tonight. So the Untangling from the Matrix, you know, that is the title. But what I'd really love for you to give is a little bit of background first, and unpack why this is so important for you right now, and what brought you out to Tennessee after 25 years in Colorado?
Yeah, okay. Well, I want to say too a couple of things. Like as we're reading all that, I'm like, wow, that's a mouthful. I have to live up to. But when you were talking about your screensaver, I was like, part of the thing of living off grid and rural is our internet. And I'm like, I just hope that it stays strong through this whole call, right? And if I put a background like that on, it like shuts the refrigerator off kind of thing, right? So there are challenges to living the way that we've chosen to live here. But yeah, I do want to talk about kind of the beginning, and that, you set up so nicely because yeah, I was working at that sustainability focused nonprofit. You brought in the Tower Garden, like the ceiling was smeared with all of our brains because the top of our heads blew off when we saw it. And but funny enough, there were like these three threads that Lori and I had. And this is such a huge piece of it that I live my life based on synchronicity because of the Celestine prophecy. I'd read that in the 90s and it stuck with me. And I teach a class based on that. And I was literally launching that class when Lori and I met. And part of it was because of this beautiful women's group that we were in, this mastermind that we were in. And on that mastermind, we were each coached to lead meditation at the beginning. And one of the leaders in this mastermind led us through this beautiful meditation of a visualization of what our lives look like at the very end. And I encourage everybody to do this because I mean, wow, to be able to like just get in that space, drop in and go, what what am I leaving behind? What is my vision? What did I come here for this time around? And it was clear for me because of the work that I'd already been doing in personal growth, but also because I lived this reality for such a fraction of time in the late 90s. I lived on an intentional community and I saw the vision for this vision there. And in that meditation in the women's group, I saw a community, which at the time I thought would be in Colorado, which is where we met and lived. And I really thought it would be there, honestly. And it was all the things that I was doing personal growth wise, all the things I was doing with energy healing, all the things that I wanted for sustainability there, like the model of that off grid, zero waste, reforestation, green building, all the things that I'd been working on. But plus the extra that we don't, or at least back then, didn't talk about as much in groups, which was I mean, high level groups, high masterminds were probably doing that. A lot of you were probably having these conversations with people, but in the general public, we were not talking about, um, you know, uh, envisioning a better life for yourself and manifesting and masterminding around that. And so it was really powerful for me to have that vision and so Lori sprinkles Juice Plus into me, into that mix, right? So there's the other track, right? She's got this Tower Garden that connects us. We're in this women's group that connects us. And then we start hiking together and she drops in like, I'm burning out. I'm struggling with my health. I had been diagnosed with Hashimoto's. That was the like pinnacle of the things that I was struggling with. So there's a whole slew of things before that, right? That even if you, which I did as a core belief, believe that plants heal, that we have the power to heal through plants, through our own inner knowledge. And, with what we've been given, what this planet has for us. It's all here. It's in our cells, it's in our brains. We've just forgotten this ancient knowledge of how to heal ourselves and with what foods and plants and herbal medicine. So I'm burning out in my health. I'm burning out in the nonprofit work. For those who don't know, nonprofit work is it's a lot. It's hours that are not 9 to 5. It's not Monday to Friday, and most people burn out. And so that was like the first matrix I wanted to get out of was that 9 to 5 grind. And that's something we're going to weave through with this talk is this Juice Plus is exiting the matrix, right? And so many, and the business, but also the products on so many levels of us learning to tap out of the norm, of the form, of the box, you know? So um like I said, I wrote here in my notes, like it's a big gemmy, like this business is just a big gemmy bow, right? That is truly like exit the matrix. Don't work 9 to 5. I mean, some people have to still, and that fits in your model. So maybe exiting the matrix is something different from you, but coming off of pharmaceuticals, all of that is exiting the matrix. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So because that's what we're really gonna be talking about. But when I lived in that community and I really focused on nature, I had this clear intuition, this clarity. I was eating clean. I felt my healthiest. I had the most energy. So of course, when I had, that peace, right, that we all had in 2020 to envision, is this the track I really want to stay on? Um, 2020 catapulted us off that track. So we were living in Colorado in our little secret hamlet in the hills that had literally been taken over by the work from anywhere workforce. They all came in droves and it changed, as did everything at the time. And that is what happens, right? We live in cycles. It's okay that it changed, but it kicked the wheels in motion for us and we dropped out. We tagged out. We bought a big chunk of land that I would have never been able to afford in Colorado, here in Eastern Tennessee. And we started an intentional community and permaculture education center that we named Shambhala after the 11th insight of the Celestine prophecy, which, if you don't know, is just it's a high vibration community, mythical community in Nepal where they live, with practices like food sovereignty and self-sufficiency and love focused and kind of that love focused religion, right? All religions, I feel like, come back to that point of agape. And there is that unity thread within them all. And so that is for us what Shambhala is also about, is that kind of unity thread of agape. And that's the magic of this business. So, that we could make this move and I joined the business in 2014. So I spent the next 6 to 7 years building a solid enough business that I could, one, exit the workforce, which I did. I exited the nonprofit matrix, and my husband did as well. He's back in it now, but he's a work from anywhere. So he shifted how that looked for him. And for those of you who were on a couple weeks ago, you got to hear his story. But yeah, that's the biggest piece too that I think is unspoken about the magic of this business is all of the personal growth work that we do. All of that in that visioning and casting vision and really focusing on what our gifts are so that we can provide those to the world through the vehicle that is this business. So I was all over the place on that answer with my notes, but I hope that
No,
that's
just a
okay.
couple of things. No, it is
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's just perfect. One of the things that I wanted to add was one of the important pieces of when you were looking for land and this property that you found in Tennessee, it has water on it. And when you're in Colorado, when you're in some of those drier states, that is unheard of. So what a beautiful, and I've been to Shambhala. It's incredible. And just to see where it has come from in such a short amount of time, right? So it's and like
Yeah.
we're just talking about, I don't know, a couple of days ago, whenever it was, just that reconnecting of nature and just letting go kind of um, what we're expected to do, right? And being okay with
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the connection to nature is, for me, what helps me do that too. Yeah. And just feel grounded and
Yeah.
confident in that. So,
Yeah. And that flows into that second question that you're about to ask me. So I'll unpack that a little bit more, the whole nature connection piece too, for sure. But the water piece I want to just comment on real quick is there were a lot of reasons that we chose this state,
mm,
which confused a lot of our friends, of why we would choose to come here, but we were looking for mountains because mountains elevate your vibration. We were looking for someplace that had water because I do believe there will be a crisis around water. Um, and there already is actually, but I mean, it'll define our reality in, I think, the next 50 years. And we kind of wanted that security. But there were so many other things. But one of the biggest ones was that there are people doing what we're doing here already. There are people doing what we're doing all over the world, but there's a big pocket right here. And so we were so blessed to drop into that support network. And I think that's huge. That made that catapulted our success out of the gate for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if I remember correctly, it wasn't something that community, you didn't really know that that was there the way that it is, as large as it is, right? So
Right.
yeah, everything about it
Yeah,
was beautiful and very, very, very synchronous for sure.
exactly.
So well, yeah. So let's talk about that. The next question that I had for you was just, feeling, tagging out, right? Tagging out from the matrix. And you've talked about already a little bit about what it means to you, but also talk about what it means to some of your clients. So just to get a deeper perspective on it for people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I had a couple people reach out to me and say, "What is this? What are you going to talk about? Like, how does this fit into this discussion, into this Monday night model that we have here of kind of sharing what this is all about with friends and family and strangers?" And there are a lot of matrices that we're surrounded with, as I've already said. But the reason that I felt like this was an important thing to bring to this discussion is because I feel like this is my overarching mission now. My definition for exiting the matrix for me is, like you said, kind of getting in touch with nature, getting in touch with yourself, your inner knowledge, your intuition, and letting go of some of the systems that no longer serve you. So, whatever those are, that could be a matrix. It could be 5G grid, right? It could be the urban infrastructure and the toxic traffic that people deal with when they live in the city. I didn't have any of that in Steamboat. We lived rurally. And we didn't always have great service, which, if you're conscious of EMFs, you're happy about. So, we were like, it's fine if we don't have great service. But really, what I wanted to bring bubble to the top is the biggest matrix is the trap of our minds. We make the matrix with our mind. We fabricate the reality all around us. Usually, what I'm talking about on these calls is mindset. And that's really what this is all about. This is about your mindset. And that's the foundation, right? So if you think toxic thoughts, you have a toxic reality. If you think positive, hope-filled, you know, juicy, health-focused, agape thoughts, that's your reality. That's this community, right? Um, and because we control the world with our minds, the matrix, is just a small piece of that. It's just, for me, whether it's man-made, self-made, human-made, women-made, earth-made, it's for those, I did want to actually, I just see in my notes, I did want to put in there, if you don't know the movie The Matrix, the lead character Neo has a transcendental awakening that he's part of something that he doesn't have control over, and he wants to exit out of it. So he has a choice from his guru, the first guru that he meets, right? This is the hero journey map that we always get in movies, Star Wars, all of them. I'm sure even the Notebook or something has, the hero's journey written into it, right? Right. So he takes the red pill. He has the choice. He can take the blue pill and everything stays the same once he knows, or he takes the red pill. And he takes the red pill. So that's what the Red Pill Sisterhood is all about. Is we're aware of this now. I think everybody's aware of this now, that we create our reality with our mind, and that the world we're living in is toxic. Now, those two foundations, you just go from there. But what's super cool is I have an entry survey for my clients that now are interested in, what does this mean? What are you coaching around? Because it can be toxic truths. It's like I have developed this whole series around detoxing, but it's home, body, internal body, and external body and mind. Um, it can be detoxing, right? And that's part of the matrix. I think the matrix, when anybody exits a matrix, there's a detox, right? Whatever your matrix is, it could be your relationship, right? There's a detox from that. Of course, this is an analogy, the matrix. It's an analogy, but at the same time, we all have meaning. We all put meaning to some things like this. And so what I'm seeing from my clients when they define the matrix is transcendental consciousness rising. It's one of the answers I got. I love that. Getting
Wow.
away from Western medicine or Western medicine cures, and to, heal better, sleep, remove disease, etc. Or exiting, I love this one, from the consumer reality, that plugged in television reality that we're force fed from the media. For me, that's a matrix that everybody needs to exit from, right? We all talk about that here in this community. Stop watching the news. It's toxic. It's not even true, most of it. So, and then when you exit, what happens? You reconnect to self, to truth, to source, to nature, to love. So,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. Yes, 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 yes. So let's talk a little bit about how you feel like Juice Plus is a conduit for this. Because yeah, I mean, I know you're going to go into this because I can, yeah, you just go.
It's clear,
Well, I
right?
love it.
But right, what we've already been talking about. For one, we're really focused on natural health. This community is more focused than any other community I've even ever been in. And they've been wide, right? Even the little community that I lived in Oregon, we were all focused on natural healing and health and eating and eat food sovereignty. Um, but we didn't have hundreds of doctors talking about anything that you could tap into at your fingertips, right? We have so much support around what that looks like. I think also the reset, formerly named the Shred 10, the reset that we have, right? Where we're teaching people to cut out things, all of those things are cutting out are connected to some matrix. Toxic food systems, processed foods, um, alcohol, neurodisruptors like, caffeine could be, right? When we're cutting those things out, that even is an unplug, like unplugging from falsehoods, right? The false truth that if I drink more coffee, I'll have more energy, right? That's an exit from the matrix, and helping people make those little one simple unplug changes at a time is what we're all about. And what I wrote that I want to make sure I read is that this is like Pandora's box of gifts that we can fit into any category that we want it to: mental health, physical health, family and kids health, community, personal growth, elevation, celebration, awakening, abundance, communication. It all fits into this colorful rainbow that we share with the world on a daily basis. It's the gift of transformation. Any transformation is an exit from the matrix. This is uh what did I write? A magical little temple. This is a vessel that we live in, right?
Yeah.
This vessel. This is our community. And that's that. I can't tell you, like, when I started thinking about all the ways that this fits, it's like this is hub and spoke, right? This is the true model of sustainability of hub and spoke, where you're like, I'm going to provide this. But in that hub, you get this, and this. That's that's pretty special.
Wow. Well said. That's such a beautiful picture. And I had, when I first came to this community, I had no idea there was even a community. So it was like you said, a little gift this day and then the next day, or you meet this person, or how we're all connected through this community. Yeah. So, okay,
Yeah.
we've got a few
Yeah.
more minutes here.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you, to identify, like, what are some of the quality questions that you ask when you're opening this doorway to people?
Yeah, I thought this was a good question to kind of end with so
Mhm.
that we could have homework, right? We could, as we're thinking about the matrix and sharing that concept with our network, like it may not fit to you, and that's okay. This may not be your model. We all have our gifts, right? And what I want you to see is that your gifts fit under your umbrella. Juice Plus is just one of those gifts. And in this kind of sidebar personal growth academy that some of us are in right now, that's what we're really focusing on, is focusing on the gifts that we share with the world. First of all, this isn't in our notes. That's the question, right? Like, what are your gifts? Tell me your gifts, right? So that I can plug this business into your gifts, because then they're going to have some authenticity. And that's what we're scared of the most, right? We're like, oh, I don't want to sound inauthentic, and I don't want to push this on people, and I don't want to um push away my friends or sell, or all of the objections that we all have, right? But if we focus on our gifts, and we focus on love, and we focus on health, um and making a transformation for people, what is it that you want to transform? What I wrote down too is what motivates you. Like, I don't know sometimes. I will answer for people thinking I know what motivates them. I know what they're looking for. Um, I can't make we cannot make that assumption. We have to ask, you know, um, because, for instance, incentives don't motivate me. Money doesn't motivate me. So we have had to plug into other ways to have this business motivate me. Um, because those two things don't, right? And so if that's how we're coaching people, you're going to lose some. You've got to ask them what motivates them, and not overcomplicate this. And what do they want to transform? And then teach them to ask those questions to their network, you know? What do you want to transform? Then, of course, the last question that I've written down here is like, let's have people envision what their legacy is at the end. Because again, then you can go, okay, what's their gifts? What are their gifts? What is their transformation? What motivates them? And then what do they want to see in the end? Because then you have this roadmap to get them there, right? This beautiful Pandora's box, like I said, to get them there. And that was what helped me with Shambhala. This business fuels Shambhala. Both fuel each other, of course, because I'm here, I can be here and still work this business, but then go out in the garden and pick wine berries, which I found today. So I lost them for a little while, but I found them, because that's what happens when you have 40 acres. So where are those wine berries again? So they're
Yeah.
way better than blackberries, but
Oh,
personal preference. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I feel like I hope you're seeing, or we'll take a minute, just look into the comments. People have got some great comments there, and we are at time. I just appreciate you so much, Andy. And one of the gifts that I have received is our friendship.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. That's for sure. I'm not even going to look at you.
I,
Um, What I want to say is that oh, and look at that last note I see is from our sweet Wendy. What I want to drop in the chat are our links. Because for anyone that wants to look at Shambhala or what I'm doing, that's what's the beauty of this business, is that we can use each other for inspiration. So I just threw them all in there. It's a website, a Facebook link, and the Instagram, in case you're on one and not the other. Or if you're not on either, you've got a website, and you can kind of see what Shambhala is about. Not, I saw someone say they wanted to come here. Maybe it was Hamilton, and someone was coming with Hamilton, I think. Mora. Yeah. So yes, I expect some of you to be here at some point. But yeah, it's a lot. There Just hit me up on what that looks like when you come to visit Shambhala, because we're off grid and yeah, we're composting everything. I'll just leave it at that.
That's right. It is an adventure, I will say. That is for sure. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this and appreciate you sharing your gifts with us tonight. So I've recorded this. I will get the recording out to everyone. And if this is your first time meeting our community, thank you so much for being here tonight. And as I said, we do this every Monday night. So please get back with the person that invited you. And yeah, we'll see you next Monday. And
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here. I love all of you so very much.
and let me unmute the lines and people can come back and say.
Hi, Susie.
Right.